Jefferson. And it is my true honor to be standing here with what is our New Orleans Metropolitan Region leadership. We have with us New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell, St. Bernard Parish President Guy McGinnis, Plaquemines Parish President Kirk Lapine, St. Charles Parish President Matthew Jewell, St. John Parish President Jacqueline Hotard, and Tangipahoa Parish President Robbie Miller. And all of them will be addressing you as well. Earlier today, our Governor John Bel Edwards issued a proclamation, a stay-at-home order, and essentially bringing forth essential business reasons to be out and those employees. And we stand here to support that effort. The thing about Louisiana and the country is that every parish has unique offerings. And that's why we travel so much across the region together, because all of our parishes are so unique, different, and that is just so wonderful. But we also have so much in common, and we certainly have the love for our great city, love for our people. And in the past couple weeks, we share the fight against COVID-19 and the coronavirus in our community. The governor has indicated in his speech today that Louisiana has the third highest rate per capita of this virus. And that is very important information for everyone to understand. Our region, and the leadership you see here represents 85% of Louisiana cases. Our region represents 90% of the deaths in the state of Louisiana. So what you see is across the board collaboration. That is what you're seeing with your elected leaderships. That is what you're seeing with the school systems, with our nonprofits, with our large industry, small businesses across
needs over $250 billion in flexible emergency fiscal assistance to be allocated directly to cities who are in need, and we collectively are those cities in need. This will empower the nation's mayors and our parish presidents to immediately take the bold actions necessary to protect our people, our public, from both the pandemic as well as the subsequent partner, the Second Harvest Food Bank. They're running out of food, and we need them to be able to access the USDA, the federal assistance programs for feeding immediately. We need to reduce the city's cost share for FEMA as it relates to public assistance programs. These are things that we need immediately, and we're asking and we're advocating on behalf of all of our residents as it relates to advocating to our federal delegation and, of course, the President of the United States. We need people to listen, all of our people to listen to our safety leaders, to our healthcare professionals to stay at home, practice social distancing, essential services only, food, pharmacies, banks. Thank you again for being here and covering what we have to say collectively.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you for being one of the first responses today. And we know you have a lot going on, so thank you for your leadership and being here today. And Madam President Chang, thank you for inviting us all here. This is such an important gathering, so thank you and your staff. You know, for the residents of St. Bernard Parish, we want you to continue to monitor sbpg.net. We're doing twice daily updates on Facebook, and we want you to do that. But today we're here to show a united front, to support our governor, to support our president in this order. We can't do this if people, the mayor said it, the president said it, listen and stay home. We don't have time. We're sitting here today, this is so important. We don't have time to mess around with foolishness and splitting hairs with this order, with businesses and people and what you're doing. Stay home. If you do not have to leave home, stay home. Essential services, essential things that you need for your family, we need to do that. We need to work on standing up our health system. Our first responders are out there every day. We don't have enough equipment. We're spending our day trying to make sure that our hospital staff, our first responders, that includes our sheriff's department, and what they're doing every day. Don't take our eye off of the ball because of your foolishness. So I just want to remind everybody, where was your mind a week ago?
busy and it's been very tough, but thank you. And to all my surrounding presidents, thank you guys for all being here. President Shang talked about parishes and how we're diverse in many ways. And Plaquemines Parish was 65 miles long, East and West Bank. So we have some geographical challenges. And with that being said, we tried to push out as much information as we can, the right information, the positive information. And that's some of the issues that I'm sure a lot of these presidents have.
Everybody to take the governor's executive order seriously. If you can, you need to stay home. Go out, get some groceries, and go back home. You can go out and you can get provisions, but other than that, you need to stay home. Now, speaking of groceries, these grocery stores are going to remain open. These are essential businesses. There's go out and hoard groceries. Please take what and leave for everybody else so that everybody has access to resources. I remain in constant communication with our industry leaders to make sure that the critical industry in St. Charles Parish will continue to operate. Beginning tomorrow, St. Charles Parish Courthouse and our parish buildings will be closed to the public. If you need to enter the courthouse, it will be by appointment only. We have also taken steps to ensure that all critical services will remain intact. Be forced
And as everyone said, essential businesses will remain open. Stores, banks, pharmacies, you will still be able to do those types of businesses. It's all of the other non-essential business operations that are going to be closed at this time. And lastly, we want to continue to pray for and support our healthcare professionals, and our emergency responders. Because right now,
Why staying at home is going to be so very important. We just concluded a weekend of drive-by testing sites across the two parishes here. Those went very well. It was a collaboration between local, state, and federal officials. A lot of work went into it, and it was a great result. There's still a lot of people that have symptoms, maybe mild symptoms, and they have not been tested. In outbreaks like this, it will be impossible single expansion of healthcare capacity the state has ever seen, and it's going to happen over the course of 10 days. The goal here is to increase the capacity of acute life-saving care. Once again, the single greatest thing you can do to help mitigate this pandemic is to stay at home, like every person beside me here has asked you to. I will add one other thing, and I'm glad that Madam Mayor mentioned this as well. Brothers and sisters you might have who work in the healthcare industry, who work in hospitals, who work in clinics, they're working awfully hard right now. They're working very long hours, and they're oftentimes being asked to do that without maybe all the protective equipment that they need. They're putting themselves on the front lines for everyone else. So I'd ask you, if you know anyone that works in the healthcare industry, it's a good time now to reach out to them, give them a call, give them a text. Just let them know that you're thinking of them and you thank them for what they're doing. Thanks. Madam President? Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Do you have any questions? WWL.
Question for Mayor Cantrell. This is from one of our reporters, Danny Monteverde. He wanted to ask you, he said, this morning on Face the Nation, Scott Gottlieb, the FDA commissioner from 2017 until last year, said he thinks New Orleans is at, quote, extreme risk from the virus. His exact quote is, I think there's other cities that are extreme risk. New Orleans is at very high risk and they're not taking appropriate measures. And his question is, if what's being done in New Orleans is not appropriate action, what is?
Well, I think I would ask him that. Of course, hindsight, right? Also understanding, even when I mandated that public events stop, which included St. Patrick's Day, and the reaction that yielded just across the city, even across parishes. But the reality is what it is. And the existing conditions are what we're trying to fight. as it relates to this virus. Thank you.
WDSU followed by Fox 8.
When it comes to people ages 18 to say 35 tested positive for the coronavirus, have you been seeing a substantial increase?
The question was regards to ages 18. We're realizing as we're in this that the prevalence of asymptomatic or even extremely mild symptomatic infections is probably a lot higher than we thought before. And so folks might not realize that they're getting sick, go out there and spread the virus unknowingly. So it's really for that reason that the stay-at-home message is the single greatest tool that we have right now to tamper down the spread.
Fox 8.
I have two questions for Dr. Cantrell. Sorry. Say, for instance, you don't have a temperature, but maybe you have a cough or shortness of breath. How do you know when you should get?
That because the test itself actually isn't the end all be all. It's the actions that are taking. And those actions can be taken whether or not the test happens or not. And those actions are, if you are sick, stay at home, isolate yourself from your family as much as possible. Not always possible, but as much as possible, and stay that way until 3 days after your symptoms resolve. That stands for whether you tested positive or whether you didn't even have a test.
Followed by the Advocate.
Yes, and this is going to be for Mayor Cantrell and President Parish severely. We get so many messages on our Facebook page and on our cell phones for our construction industry community who is considered essential.
Now, if I heard you right, you asked who is considered essential.
Yes.
Okay, and this is spelled out very clearly in the guidelines issue of New Orleans on Friday. So essential speaks to, one, whether it's your healthcare professional,
questions related to that, and I'm sure our council members are going to start fielding those questions, and we need some more clarity and a little bit more definition per industry. We'll be happy to get those questions answered for you. Also, I just wanted to remind everyone before the next question, this site is a testing site. I want to, Mayor Cantrell and the City of New Orleans and Jefferson Parish, we're just so grateful to be one of the pilot programs. It's the first time it's ever been done. And
So you haven't seen a cluster of cases like
Correct.
Lambeth, but have you seen other cases in living facilities throughout New Orleans?
Not like we saw with Lambeth. Lambeth seems to be in isolation, meaning that one large cluster in a nursing home that we've had to address and also our homeless individuals that are in our shelters, really doing the assessments that are necessary to move them into housing. So there are partners associated with that. But my focus primarily has been on street homeless. With the shutdown, meaning in regards to the stay-at-home orders and even those that came prior to that, with limiting operations of as we follow guidelines that are not throughout, not only the state of Louisiana, but as we our partners throughout the United States, that parks are still